I'm sitting here in my favorite park in Jerusalem, Gan Saka, but this isn't where I always lived. I grew up in England, London, and I did all sorts of sport, football, table tennis, tennis and rugby, and eventually I went to university. I went to Manchester University and I studied philosophy, which was actually a bit of a waste of time. But I became a very good pool player, and I also dabbled in a bit of DJing and the not so healthy things that come along with that lifestyle. But I started doing an existential experiment. I asked people a very profound question: how are you? Unfortunately, the general reply that I got was, not too bad, which is a tragedy because it means you're bad, just not too bad. Hanging in there, can't complain, fine, which stands for feelings inside, not expressed, could be worse. I realized there are very few people who are actually empowered and happy and healthy and living amazing lives. And I decided I don't want to do this. I don't just want to fall into this. I saw the statistics of how many people don't like their jobs. LinkedIn just came out with a survey, 84% of people don't like their jobs. There's depression, there's divorce. I thought this can't be what life's all about. I never thought Judaism had real answers. Although I grew up very traditional, I never ate pig in my life. I ate dog soup when I got my black belt in Korea, and some snake in Thailand. But pig was going a bit too far for a nice Jewish boy. And I watched lots of martial arts films, and I decided that the key to real wisdom lies in the East. So I decided to spend the next 6 years traveling and working out what life's all about. I was in Sri Lanka for 4 months working in orphanages. I went to Thailand for a year and a half teaching in universities and doing meditation retreats. I was in India for a year, yoga retreats, also working in orphanages. I lived in Nepal, China for a bit, Laos for a bit, and Japan for a year and a half. And I really started feeling I'm understanding more what life's all about. Decided to go to South America. I wanted to canoe down the Amazon for a year, but I stopped in Israel for a couple of weeks to visit some friends. And someone asked me, now that you've studied many of the other religions, why don't you look into your own religion, Judaism? And I said, because it's naive, dogmatic, male chauvinistic, out of date. I don't really like religious people so much. They don't seem so spiritual. And a whole long list, which I think many Jews have, and which is the reason why many Jews go and look into Eastern religions. But I was open-minded enough to sit down with some rabbis and go to some classes, and I soon realized that the reason I didn't like Judaism at all was because I had no real depth of understanding about what it was really teaching. And so I settled in for a little while, stayed for 3 months, and the rest is history. I'm going to be sharing some of the ideas I learned that made me change the course of my life and end up here in a beautiful park in Jerusalem.